ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Premier League as this is a Team Fire versus Absolute Legend. Of course, Premier League sponsored by Twitch TV, hosted by Ange, and brought to you guys through DotaCommentaries.com. Of course, joining me is the illustrious Purge Gamer from Ghost Gamer, and I'm Luminous. How are you feeling about Game 1, and what are you looking forward to from Game 2?
Game 1 was really awesome.
Well, actually, one of the best games for Dota 2 I've casted for a long time.
Yeah, it was very back and forth. At any point in the game, except for like the last 5 or 10 minutes, it would have been really hard to, or at least your assumptions about where the game was going would have been inaccurate. I think is the best way to describe it. So it was really back and forth, and good demonstration by both teams. But I think Absolute Legends definitely made more mistakes.
Yes.
So I think that was definitely a very worthy win. Very well played by Fire.
Yep. And Absolute Legend have the first pick and first ban on the dire side. They're gonna get rid of the anti-mage. Nothing too surprising right now. And I wonder, what are they gonna go into their stable Chen Dragon Knight kind of strat where they have so much success with? Or are they gonna try something new?
I'm actually pretty excited, hoping to see a Darkseer, because I'm going to pay a lot of attention to him, especially because I'm not observing. I can just look at him the entire game, just to see how he plays. You can't get access to Dota 2 replays anymore to see how to really play heroes well, so I'm excited to see that. If it does end up, there's only one ban left, and if nobody bans him here, I can pretty much guarantee either team is going to pick him up. I know Absolute Legends doesn't necessarily play Darkseer a whole lot, but I'm sure they would be happy to play him so that Fire does not get him.
Right. Speaking of the replay system, they've been talking about it for a while, Valve time, but I heard that it is going to be a ramp up of the system where you could actually download professional replays soon, whatever that means.
That's a big deal, because that's gonna stop. It'll prevent a lot of problems with tournaments holding replays. We'll see how broad it is.
Yeah, I think the tournaments themselves still has the option to release a replay or not. But then the pressure is on them and not on Valve, so yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
and like a couple of weeks ago, I was making a QQ post on my DWS. I was like, "Yo, all these up and coming commentators, they actually can't cast because they don't have the pro replay. So it's unfair and unfortunate to them. And good to see that Valve is doing something about it. But that's not about this game. This game is about a Shadow Shaman first pick, which it's trending. It works.
Yeah, that's not weird at all.
Before Chen.
But it is going to give Fire that option to pick up the Darkseer.
Yep.
Fingers crossed. I think we're going to see it.
They're going to pick it up, and the question is only when.
Yeah.
They play Darkseer a lot, and fluff and stuff taking a while with this first pick.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I know you mentioned Dragon Knight before, and yes, Darkseer Chen, yes. But you did mention Dragon Knight before, and I checked him out on the statistics, and he was actually a hero that had a very, very close number between his gold earned when he wins and his gold earned when he loses. It was very interesting. More so than any other like semi to hard carry, which is a statistic I was very surprised about. There's so much stuff to look at there. It's really amazing.
Yeah, it is really amazing. For you guys don't know what statistics that we're talking about,
Shostakovich.
Is there any way they could find the statistics?
I don't know if they're working on making it easily and publicly available. I think so. I think it's a little too early for that, but we have some access at the moment, which is great.
All right, so it seems like Team Absolute Legends is going to go for a little bit more gank / team fight potential, as all 3 of these heroes so far exceptionally for that. The Roshan fight that they have is pretty good as well. They picked up a lot of AoE, maybe in the preparation of that wall from the Darkseer. But I'm gonna say if Acceptor is able to be farmed up on the Darkseer, this game might just be over. Like it's so broken.
If you get a Black King Bard, does the wall still replicate you?
I think it does. Does.
Well, something like a Vlad's would help out. Just give your team a lot of armor.
Right.
Because the illusions do hit really hard. They hit for like 90% or something ridiculous. It's like the most damaging illusions in the entire game.
Right.
But Fire is going to pick up a Faceless Void. That's going to be their team fight hard carry. But in Absolute Legends' favor, they do have the Ancient Apparition to counter the Chen, which was part of their problem in the previous game.
Yeah, I think this Void pickup is mostly as a counter pickup against Absolute Legend. Absolute Legend, if they had Void, their lineup is going to look so beautiful. They had the Chronosphere, and then you have double AoE stack on top of that. So I feel like Fire just picked it up so the enemy team don't have it, and they're going to start banning, carry at this point here. But yeah, with the Chronosphere up, the Darkseer vacuum can still vacuum them. You could drop the wall there, and yes, you know the replicated illusions can't really start attacking, but they could start stacking up. And after that Chrono's done, stuff is gonna happen. So the question is, what kind of support the Radiant team will pick up? Because you know Darkseer will just take a side lane. I think probably a top lane here. Chen is gonna jungle, so I think they're gonna look for a support and then a solo mid. There's a lot of options here for either case, so I don't think Fire is hurting for any hero at this point in time right now.
And they're going to pick up Enigma here. Absolute Legends, of course. That's going to give them the power to jungle or even use the Enigma to deny creeps, which is something that we don't see very often on Enigma, but most likely he's going to be thrown into the jungle here. I'm expecting Venge to be going with the Faceless Void on the mid lane. That's usually a pretty good way to at least slightly shut down the Shadow Shaman. It'll force him to bring a support over, which is going to mean his experience isn't quite as good in the early game. It's kind of a nice little strategy you can use to make Shadow Shaman a little less potent, while still giving you a pretty easy farming lane for Faceless Void.
Right, the Vengeful Spirit is also a great pick against the channeling spells of Enigma. Swap, get him out from far. If Vengeful Spirit is able to walk up for a magic missile, that's going to work as well. But Enigma will also provide you, the great team fight capability I was talking about, but also pushing. A lot of people underestimate how strong demonic conversion is, especially they're able to split up to 6. Oh god, those guys push so great, and you do have Mass Serpent Ward, so don't underestimate the pushing potential of Absolute Legend. And especially if Sand King and Enigma is able to work their ways up to a Blink Dagger, they could use these as great initiator as well. So Absolute Legend playing an all-around, even squad. They don't have a really strong carry at this point, but that could change very soon.
Yeah, the only thing I feel like they're really missing is a tanky creep for pushing, but I'm not really sure if they're going to go for that. Like you said, they are going to probably need a hard carry here. They're still going to be able to push, but it's going to be hard to push in the face of their enemies is the main thing. Because if the creep waves do get cleared, it's not going to be that big of a deal either.
There's
because
not much
now that
AoE.
I look at it, yeah, they don't have a lot of counter push either. I mean, they've got Chen creeps. Their favorite thing to do with Chen and Darkseer is to throw an Ion Shell on like a Centaur early
and
just have
surge
him,
it.
Yeah, have him go between the two towers, and he'll just sit there, tank the creep wave, and clear creep wave just with the Ion Shell. It works really good. It's a cool little trick that I haven't really seen on any other teams but Fire, but that's their counter push, especially early game. They can use that at level 1, for God's sake.
Heyo!
You excited or something?
I am excited about this, but it's very questionable. Well, the reason I'm excited about Morphling is I feel like he's a very viable carry in this metagame, especially he's one of the few range carries, and he's rarely picked. But is this a game to pick it against a wall? Because, as you know, Morphling is a stats-based carry. He's pumped himself stats. And stats is the thing that passes through illusions. And guess what Darkseer's doing? He's sitting in the corner, and he's holding to his fingers like, yes, I'm going to replicate a carry, and that carry is going to own hardcore.
I don't know. We'll see. It's situational. If they can get Morphling into the thing, it'll be good. I would actually love to see Morphling just get a really fast Ethereal Blade or Ethereal Blade or whatever.
I don't think it's gonna work this game. Look at all these guys are so tanky. It's gonna be hard. And with the Beastmaster pickup, I think that's gonna force him to go Linken's.
It's gonna be hard to get the nuke off. Well, I meant like after Lincoln Sphere or something. But either way, having that available. Let's say he's outside the Chronosphere or something. Use it on the Void. It's so good to do that. Then he just can't attack for a couple seconds, and his Chronosphere is kind of wasted in a lot of ways. I would like to see that, but that's me just like inner schoolgirl, fingers crossed. If there's such thing.
We'll see. Now, in terms of laning, I wonder what we're going to spec here from Absolute Legend. They don't have the best guys to go bottom as a solo, so it might me think that they might go tri-lane bottom.
I think they're going to AA support the Morphling bottom. Sand King's going to solo top. We're going to put Rasta mid and Enigma jungle. Easy.
We'll see.
Or, well, I had it flipped. They're the dire team, but you know what I mean. Morphling supported by AA, Enigma jungle, Rasta mid, Sand King bot. No problem.
It is looking like that. Sand King is heading bot. We'll see. Let's talk about who's playing what. Godot is going to be playing the support Enigma. Risk on the Ancient Aberration. Risk usually plays the side lane, so he does have wards though. So I don't know. Music will be playing the Shadow Shaman. He hasn't spent all 600 of his starting go yet, so going for a quick bottle. Snoopy gonna be. Snoopy's usually a support player, right?
I believe so, but apparently he's good at Sand King, so
right.
I'm assuming that's where the... and Risk is just a really good player, so I'm sure he can play support no problem at all.
Right, Sand King has a stout shield, so that's
Probably gonna solo.
Yeah, he's probably gonna solo, maybe expecting a Darkseer coming his way. And of course, Shatan's gonna be playing the Morphling on the top.
And for the Radiant team, we are looking at fire here. TC is going to be playing the Beastmaster. Fluff and Duff is on the Chen. We also have IX Mike 88 playing the Vengeful Spirit. In the mid lane, we have Hannah Montana is going to be doing the Darkseer, and we're missing one player, I think.
Jo on the bots.
There he is. He's hiding. This is Void, and he's got a Stout Shield to start.
Yep, and looks like Darkseer is jungling? No, he's checking for the rune. Usually what Darkseer loves to do is surge one of the creeps, so they pile ahead. But maybe he's expecting a solo lane on the top anyway, so there's no reason to do any of that shenanigan. And he's going to be right. It's going to be a Morphling versus a Darkseer solo. And let's see how the Morphling is going to prevent his lane from being pushed. Because his lane will get pushed. And it looks like he's trying to go into a Ring of Basilius. Not too sure how much that was going to help.
I'm sure he wishes it was the latest patch because a Ring of Aquila is like an item made for Morphling here.
Right.
But he will get some last hits. He does get his first one. I always have a little trouble last hit with Morphling. His base damage is actually a little low here. But the Ion Shell is going to deny some creeps here, or at least push the wave a little bit, and Hannah Montana will get some farm out of this. And he's a little able to get ganked, though. He doesn't actually have Surge at the moment, which is a little bit of a dangerous play coming out of him. But Ancient Apparition will swing around the back. And at the very least, maybe he just realizes the heroes in the pool. If you think about it, you know an Enigma's not going to have Malefice at level 1, and it's just an Ancient Apparition at that point. You know, there's no hard disables other than Sand King or maybe like a Shadow Shaman Shackle. So in that sense, he can actually be really aggressive at the start of the game here.
Yep. Unless you know, Shatan just waves in and do expert block, you know. Which, you know, if he does that, he earned himself the kill, so it's fine. But you're right now, yeah, Hannah Montana getting quite a bit of XP despite getting that difficult lane on the top. He's fine. And meanwhile on the bot here, IX Mike able to do some pull, counter warding and whatnot. And Jo is having a farm time of his life. Yeah, he's doing
he's doing really good.
Yeah.
And getting the hits off on Snoopy as well, that's always going to help. He doesn't actually have any bash levels yet, but may pick one up now, just to get some nice little extra harass damage in. He will pick one of those up. 40 extra damage is always great against laning against somebody. We don't have any Sentry Ward. Yeah, no Sentry Wards left on Vengeful Spirit, so countering against the Sand King isn't necessarily going to be easy, but he will be able to do some pulling in. Very interesting Observer Ward placement from the Sand King as well. Did not predict where that was. It looks like, yeah, they did use both of their Sentry Wards, and they only got one ward.
Yep. No, they didn't get... They got 0 ward. Are you talking about the dire wards?
I'm assuming there was a pull spot ward at least.
No, there wasn't. One of them is next to the Roshan, and the other one's in the jungle.
So yeah, you're right. Wow.
Maybe they realized they were probably going to get counter anyway, so they even try for it. And actually was able to bait out double Sentry Wards from Avenge. And Snoopy's going to be, in essence, okay for now. But you know that once Chronosphere hits 6, good luck counting on your invisibility to actually help out.
Yeah, it looks like Beastmaster is going to bottle up the 2-minute rune here. It's going to be a double damage, which is going to help him last it like crazy here. And looks like Musica is actually completely out of regen already. And based on his HP, yeah, he did have a bottle. I was scared for him. Thought he was very, very underfarmed there. But Hannah Montana just trying to sap some EP from the gank. And he does have a Sobi Mask at the moment. He's level 4, surprisingly, sitting the same level as the Morphling. So he's been doing a very, very good job keeping his experience up despite soloing on the top lane here, which is generally pretty dangerous.
Yep, that Sage's Mask will be turned into a Soul Ring much later on, and that's going to help out his regeneration. But yeah, here comes a push, and I think Morphling is having quite a bit of trouble defending this push. His tower still very healthy in terms of HP. These pulls definitely not helping him, though, as he's going to be taking a little bit of residual damage from these creeps. He does have 3 tangos left, so still healthy amount of restorative. And look at Shatan, making last hitting under tower look easy, as it is pretty easy for pro players. You guys just hit it the right amount of times, and it's just kind of elementary. Here comes a gank from the Radiant squad as they're diving past the tower. Musica is as good as dead. We'll see. Can he run up? That's the question. He does run up. Good reaction, though. Yeah, and he's going to be fine. Great job here by Musica.
Wow, and Godot coming in for the double stun on the Beastmaster. There's a stun on Enigma as well, and the center will fall up here, but really, really nice play. That was really close for sure. Definitely chose the right path. It's actually a path that is oftentimes not made by a solo mid here. They always just assume that running straight back to the tower is the safest path, but that would have gotten him killed for sure there.
Right. Went out of range of the magical missile stun, and you know that was pretty nice. But on the bot lane, Jo hitting level 5.5. Snoopy a little bit behind, but he's farming decently as well. Interesting to see he did not pick any Caustic Finale points. Caustic Finale against a melee hero is just cheese. It's just so good. But then it also push your lane and puts you in a very dangerous spot, so that's a trade-off over there.
Yeah, and he has to be really careful every time that he gets hit from Faceless Void, who has a huge base damage, by the way. He's hitting for about 80 damage per hit right now. He's going to stun through, and he does get backtracked. Very lucky on Void, with only 3 levels of backtrack there, so does save some of that damage. And Snoopy's now completely out of mana, so is he going to bring himself a bottle? Is he going to save it for Arcane Boots? I don't really know, but his laning experience is not going to be good from here on out.
Yep, he does have the Sandstorm, but you can't really use it to try to farm because you know Jo is going to deny everything. And also, he is, again, hitting level 6 right now, so that Sandstorm will not even really keep you alive because he does review invisible units under that Chronosphere. So right now, I feel like every lane is very much so in favor of the Radiant side. Let's check out the farm for a bit. 29 and 9 on the Faceless Void, 23 on the Beastmaster, and 20 on the Darkseer. I mean, on the other side, actually pretty decent farm. 27 on Godot. He is farming neutral creep, so not as much in terms of gold. And Morphling's got 25 and 25 on Shadow Shaman, so pretty decent farm for both teams actually.
Yeah, that's really, really well done. And I just want to point out again how amazing it is that Hannah Montana here on the Darkseer is still getting equivalent farm as everybody else, like, or equivalent levels at least. It's such a big deal. But the gank's coming out now. He is going to surge himself, but the Malefice may be enough. And wow, nice play there by Hannah Montana, getting out of the cold feet just barely in time there. The Malefice was not enough, and he will survive. But seriously, if you're soloing on the top lane, it's so hard to keep your levels equivalent to the enemy hard carrying. He's actually doing it.
Yep. Hannah Montana says, "Jukes on you," as he runs to the south and then comes right back with the south and back in 4 HP. It looks like the bot tower is going to get a little bit push as Team Radiant heading that way with the Chen. The Wildgen's one of the best creeps you could grab in the early game, not only for the Tornado, but also for the armor bonus that it gives to creeps +3, which is pretty big. Terra's going to get dropped. Invisibility Rune gets bottled by the Sand King, but again, he has to think twice if you want to rescue his tower right here.
And he did steal it from the Beastmaster. He's thinking about it. He's going to pop the invisibility. He's not level 6 yet, unfortunately. Could maybe make something happen otherwise, but I heard a ward go down. It's just an observer ward getting dropped, and the Chen is going to back up.
Yep. So pretty nice defense coming here from Absolute Legend, but it might not just be done yet. No, Team Radiant is going to be backing off right now. But they did delay that push coming from Shadow Shaman. He's been level 6 for a long, long time, but as you can see right here, his Mass Serpent Ward has not been used yet. And generally, you gotta use it like a clockwork, like what TC did last game. Oh man, his Mass Serpent Wards was just dropping and dropping.
Yeah, he used them really effectively too. Every single time that he used it, pretty much in a team fight situation, always blocking somebody in, and that makes a big difference because it usually flusters you. You say, "Oh God, I gotta run away from this," and you always have to like right-click a ward down and then try to get out. And sometimes that one ward isn't enough to de-block you, so it can make a nice little added stun kind of effect in your team fights, and works out very effectively.
Right. Back in the mid lane, TC hasn't been doing too much ganking, which is really weird for a Beastmaster. In fact, he's really going for more of the lane equilibrium control. As we see a little bit more gank on Hannah Montana on the top lane, he's going to get frozen this time, and that's going to really put him down. But look at that creep with the Iron Shell. Nice. Was able to get the kill. Nicely done by him to actually use a vacuum to ensure himself the kill.
Yeah, that was really good, and I think he's probably a little unhappy because he knows Enigma is a generally better counter there against him, because he does have that multiple seconds of disable, and if he can get 2 of those Malefice chunks off during the cold feed, he did actually get frozen. He was close to surviving, but wasn't able to make it, and any other stunner probably wouldn't have been enough. If this was a Vengeful Spirit or something ganking him, you know, 1/2 second disable is just simply not enough to let the cold feed set in.
Right, and looks like we're going to transition to the push on the top lane, and this time Ring of Bliss's is turned on, +2 armor on the creeps, and they're going to go. Looks like we're going to have a demonic conversion, and I wonder who's going to be defending this tower. It seems like it's going to be a Beastmaster and Darkseer. So you can actually search a Beastmaster and go for an easy kill on Godot. He's really low in terms of HP, but it looks like they're going to just chill for now, and that should be enough to defending this tower.
Ooh, Darkseer wants the gold from the Eidolons, and he's going to grab it, man. 30 gold from 6 Eidolons, that is a lot of money. A lot of free money coming out of the Ninja. It's like an Eidolon gank or something. There's a surge on the Beastmaster. He wanted to get the roar off, but he's not going to get close enough. But I love that play, man. Darkseer just makes so many heroes just slightly different in their viability. And Snoopy getting ganked on the bot lane. He does stun. The Chronosphere is actually going to miss because he's stunned right through it. That is hilarious. And Black Chiton coming for a gank. He's going to get the wave off on Chen, doing some damage. He's going to have to wait for his cooldown, though. And he's not going to have enough mana. He does get stunned by Vengeful Spirit. Malefice now in the Faceless Void, but Fire will back up. No, he's getting stunned, and there's the ulti coming from Snoopy. Big ulti. double ulti, and there might be able to get the Faces Void. Man, he backtracks so much there, but is he going to go down? He is going to die, just barely.
Nicely done. Double stun on Snoopy. Not the best chain stun, but they nuked him down hardcore, and here comes more chase. Unfortunately, Shaitan out of mana at this point. He's going to just right-click the Vengeful Spirit down. TC in a little bit of trouble. Again, Shaitan, no more mana. He's going to get sent back home. Nicely done. Both teams losing a little bit here, but Absolute Legend, love that trade. They lost a Sand for Void and a Vengeful Spirit. Nicely done. And actually, somehow Shadow Shaman was able to pick up a kill against the Darkseer. I guess Darkseer was diving under the tower for whatever reason, and he guys just got shackled and owned.
Yeah, must have been. Looks like Shadow Shaman is pretty low on mana, so possibly mistake, I'm assuming, by the Darkseer. So he must have dove. But nice kills there. Really, really good play, man. That dodging that Chronosphere, so big. Think how different that team fight would have been. If they would have just Chronosphered the Sand King under the tower, he would have died right there, and there would have been no chase. TP in. Yeah, exactly. Like that giant chain of situations. Just one little mistake like that, and you know he's got to feel embarrassed about that. It sucks missing your Chronosphere, man.
Yep. I think actually Voice says something like, that is a huge embarrassment or something like that, if you miss a Chronosphere.
Yeah, it's stuff like that, you know. I hear it a lot on Kunkka, because Kunkka is like one of those pub heroes that nobody can play very well. Right.
And here comes the push on the top lane as we see 3 or 4 guy here from Dire, and they're just kind of hiding right now. Haste Rune up on Snoopy. I think they're going to make a dive here. And I think Darkseer might be dead. There's a Burrow Strike, but here comes all the TPs for Ice Blast going to hit. I think Manatana is going to go down, but there's a Roar on Musica. He's under the tower focus. Yep, he's going to go down as well. Trading Darkseer for Rasta, which is, I guess, is decent, especially if Rasta was not able to drop off as Mass Serpent Ward before he died.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Darkseer not able to do as much as he was. He was doing good for a while there, but once that gank happened in the jungle, and then his dive mistake, that's kind of a mindset problem that you can sometimes get in, where you end up dying once, or you were an aggressive player, and you die once, and then you try to be aggressive, and then you get even farther behind, and now all of a sudden, all he has is a Boots and a Soul Ring, and it's much, much easier just for him to get ganked, and he isn't able to finish his Vanguard, or tank up at all, pick up a point booster, and he's still in that very squishy point of the game. He might go for a pipe, is usually what we see out of Darkseers early in the game, but you know, he's died twice now in very short succession, and that's really rough. He's actually died 3 times.
Yeah, and Darkseers are heroes that require quite a bit of farm to be really, really effective. Of course, I'm talking about the Axe Scepter, but you generally don't rush Axe straight off the bat. You either get something like a Vanguard or a Pipe or some Boots upgrade to really make you even tankier. So any death that he's getting right now is taking away his gold, but more importantly, his experience as well. And he's going to die once again as he's going to get Burrow Strike up. Hannah Montana is just not helping his team.
That sucks.
Yeah, that sucks a lot.
Yeah, he's got to be really disappointed. We were just talking about it. He's died twice in a row, 3 times in a row now, one after another. He still has a bunch of gold, 800 in his bank. But man, that is rough. And Absolute Legends is going to immediately turn this into a push on the top lane. I don't know if they'll get it though, because there are actually 3 Radiant Heroes defending TP coming as well, and Vengeful Spirit looking for no swap. He's only level 6, or level 5, and we're looking for a Chronosphere from Void, but will he be able to catch up? It's going to be close.
With Chronosphere incoming, maybe? No, it's going to find Snoopy. One-man Chronosphere. They're going to drop the Kofi on Jayo immediately. Jayo's going to get stunned up. Ice Blast comes right in. Unfortunately, no follow-up. No TP scroll coming here from Shaitan. Shaitan says, Musica says, I'll just go for a push. And even though they lost a Sankey on top lane, if they could do a push like this, Master Serpent Ward gets dropped, and it's a one-man tower trade against 4. I think they'll take that one.
Yeah, it looks like the Lucian is going to be taking this up a little bit. Beastmaster coming through. He has 3 levels of Call the Wild currently. Centaurs are going to keep the creep waves back, and Risk is in position with the Ancient Apparition. He's actually a level 8, quite highly leveled on a support hero. Usually we don't see quite successful leveling. But the tower does go down. Faceless Void gets the last hit. And it looks like on the bot lane, Musica is doing a little bit of pushing by himself. Where is the Morphling at, and how is this farm going? There he is.
Morphling's in the secret shop. Yep, got the Perseverance right now. And 700 gold in the bank. Gonna be going for that Lincoln Sphere, which against a Magic Missile stun. Right now, in fact, really the only true stun from Radiant side are those single target stuns, so getting that Lincoln Sphere will be very, very helpful. But one thing he does have to worry about is that Chrono Sphere, which can be counted as a stun. So aside from that, though, I believe Lincoln Sphere is probably the best choice here because of all those single target disables. The question is whether it's going to go for Manta style next or going to be a shotgun build, like you said.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely see. I don't see any Lincoln's Disablers quite picked up yet. We're going to need something like a Medallion or an Urn on the Radiant team. It's something that got changed with the latest version, but in the tournament version here, you can still disable the Lincolns very easily. Maybe not very easily, but you'll have to go out of your way to pick up an item. like that, just to shut it down. Otherwise, it's going to be stopping a Magic Missile, it's going to be stopping a Beastmaster Roar, and that's stuff that you absolutely cannot have in a team fight. Maybe we'll see a Chen use his Penitence or something to burn it.
Right. Actually, I'm hoping to see Morphling to get picked up more and more as we are getting the game a little bit more updated. As we see a dive on the bot lane, swap up on Snoopy, he's going to Burrow Strike up. Is Chronosphere up? That's a question. It is up, but does he want to use it right here and right now? He's going to use it, and I think our Musica friend's like, oh well, good luck.
Yeah. It's like, well, I'm not going to be able to save that Link away. He could have maybe dropped the wards or had a team fight, but it would have been a very uphill battle once the Faceless Void does a Chronosphere like that. And a little unfortunate for Sanking there. Very overly aggressive, and all he has is boots and a shield and a bottle. He's got very little farm, and he keeps trying to do these uber offensive things, and I feel like he needs to just farm up at least an Arcane Boots. I think he's going straight for Blink Dagger, though.
Yeah, both teams getting picked off here and there, and that's, again, very uncharacteristic for both these teams. They're generally very good in terms of surviving. It is 5-6, both teams losing 2 towers, but the gold difference, look at that, 3,000 gold for the dire side. They're farming a lot better. So that is time for me to pull down the farm menu. 82 on Shaitan, we're 15 minutes in. That is about 6 a minute, maybe even 7 minutes. That's really good farm. 75 on Godot here, 69 on Musica. And even the supports here getting a couple of farms, 27, and Snoopy, it's only got 30. So he's really the one that's not getting too much farm.
Ooh, nice pick off on the Chen, but the Roar comes on Musica there, and he's going to get bursted down as well. The AoE coming from Enigma is going to disable the Vengeful Spirit. Hannah Montana actually runs into it as well, and is the Cold Feet going to be enough? The stun from Snoopy is great, and Shaitan swings on through. There's the Vortex, and Beastmaster now going to try to teleport out. Are we going to get the...
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Holy crap, he made it, man. No adaptive strike. They apparently didn't get vision, and Void going to try to do stuff, but he's going to actually get stunned all the way through. Cold Feet's going to go in, and that's it for the Faceless Void, I'm pretty sure. No. Oh my gosh, the AoE is going to possibly run away. He's got 5 seconds to blink here, and there's not going to be disables. They thought for sure he was going to die, but the Chen heal kept him alive, and he opted to use the SK ulti to try to kill somebody else, and he's going to make it, I think.
He's going to try to jump on the high ground. You got to keep... Oh my god! No! Oh. I saw him trying to one for the Invis, and I was like, that is the luckiest thing, but Morphling says... Wait for him, dry by. Where you at?
He could have lived.
He could have.
He had time walk ready, dude, and it's level 4. He could just time walked right into the jungle. Been absolutely fine, but instead he was like, no, dude, I want that invisibility. And that was a huge mistake. He could have just completely survived there, I think.
Players getting World Dota by themselves. Legit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a pretty big mistake. Beastmaster's actually going to be going for a pipe this game. It's not going to be the Darkseer. What does Darkseer have? He's got Arcane Boots now, but still only 900 HP. He needs to tank up, that's for sure. A Vanguard is a very good Darkseer item, so I'd love to see at least a Vanguard on him. Or maybe just like a Ring of Health into the Aghanims, but he still has some body items. Are they going to get the deny? Nice, Vengeful Spirit does get that just barely in between ward hits.
Yeah, this game feels like it's all over the place. It's really difficult to keep track. We've been trying to look for these high-impact heroes, but these high-impact heroes such as Sankey and Darkseer, they just keep on dying, and we're just sitting here watching Morphling farm, because that's kind of what we see. Shaitan going at it on the bot lane. He's got the Perseverance Sign. He's got Ultimate Orb done. It's about 600 go away from the Linken's, and once he finished, he could actually be a lot more offensive as a hero, because now between the Linken Sphere, the Replicate, and the Morph ability, you can play a lot more aggressively, especially against these low HP Vengeful Sphere and Chen supports.
There's a gank going on the mid lane, though. It's going to be on Faces Void being picked off. Blink disables coming from Musica and follow-ups from the Enigma. Enigma is very farmed, by the way. Soul Ring, Arcane Boots with a mech, such good items. I would love to see him tank up at this point, maybe get a Black King bar, or just some general HP. And Ancient Apparition actually farms up a Drum of Endurance. Nothing else, just naked drum on boots and a wand. Very nice, though, to be able to give his allies that movement speed boost in the upcoming team fights.
Yeah, I feel like the Absolute Legend team's just kind of outplaying Fire at this point. There's any extra tower. Well, they have an extra tower top now. But for the most part, they just out farming and they're out ganking. There's not too many kill difference, but we're seeing about a 5,000 goal lead in favor of Absolute Legend. And I think that's going to grant themselves access to the Roshan very soon as well, if they feel like they're confident enough.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they've killed Void 2 times in a row now. He still doesn't have his Battle Fury completed. It's kind of a problem with Faces Void compared to Anti-Mage, is that, you know, he's not as survivable. The Blink is a very long cooldown in comparison to Anti-Mages, so he's not quite as survivable here. He's only got 1,000 HP, and he does have the Time Walk and the ulti, but keeps getting picked off by the heavy stuns coming out of the Dire team.
Yep. Checking a little bit in terms of item progression, Snoopy somehow, some way, got his way up to a Blink Dagger as well, despite getting owned on pretty hard. Lindian Sphere finish. We have that farm Enigma like you talked about. And I think with that Naked Drum on Risk, the Dire team is pretty much set. They got most of their core items. They could look for big engagement right now, or they could turtle up for even better items. The choice is up to them because they have the cards to play right now. Meanwhile, on the Radiant side, Venge got nothing. Chen's got a Buckler, and he's almost 2's mecha, so that's pretty nice. We don't have the Battle Fury just yet. Hood is up, and it looks like he's trying to finish Pipe on TC, and Darkseer's got nothing.
Yeah, picking up that Hood pretty soon here, or the Pipe very soon, would actually be very nice. And he's only 600 gold away, so picking that up, 400 extra HP against magic damage, that is so big against Ancient Apparition and Sand King. So just getting that up is probably the most imperative thing to the Radiant team right now, other than keeping their Faceless Void alive, so he can maybe finish his Battle Fury. But he is in the jungle currently, and going to continue getting some last hits. There's a Dire Observer ward down that is going to just possibly scout him out as he leaves his jungle camp, but Black Chiton continuing to push the bottom lane. You can be this aggressive as a Morphling, surprisingly, because of his Morph ability, and not to mention he does have that Lincoln Sphere up, so he will back up now, though, and there is Observer wards in position to give vision of that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, these wards are dual purpose. They're so offensive, they could find an enemy jungler and try to pick them off, and also they're defensive ward in the lane tree, because Morphling was able to see someone coming in. And kudos to the Radiant support. They're like, we're defensive, so let's keep up Sentry and counter a couple of wards, but one step ahead is the Absolute Legend warders, as they're warding. Look at how deep these wards are. One in front of the middle tower, one deep in the enemy jungle, and they're kind of juking him out. And here comes a Roshan as they all smoked in, they waved in, and I don't think Fire knows. They do not.
Morphling sitting on a couple points of agility at the moment, transferring everything. He has 500 HP, man. He has to be careful, but he will be doing a lot of damage this way, and Roshan will drop shortly. It looks like the Radiant team is maybe thinking about it. Yeah, Faceless Void knows what's going on, but the Roshan goes down, and Shadow Shaman's actually going to pick that up. Will Black Chiton transfer? Yes, he is transferring to some strength here. Is sitting on about 1,000. He is going to use Replicate, but Muzga just gets destroyed. Luckily, he does have the Aegis, and Chiton trying to make something happen. There's the blink through from Snoopy and doing so much AoE damage. The wall of Replica goes down, and Black Chiton's Morphling Replica is probably going to do a lot of damage. Risk taking tons of illusion damage, and they're going to continue pursuing, looking for a kill on either Void, who's actually very low, 200 HP there, and makes it out.
Morphling is waiting and trying to farm someone. He's up to 2,000 HP, so I think he maybe a little bit overcommitted on the strength morph, but yeah, he's going to bring it down a little bit now. But yeah, Team 5 very much so in favor of the Dire side. Epicenter from Sand King was just absolutely huge, and these Chronospheres, they're just hitting one guy, and I don't think, to be honest, those are the best Chronospheres. They're going to lose a mid tower for that.
Yeah, he was looking for the initiation, but like you said, you cannot do a Chronosphere on one guy. Preferably, they want to catch Enigma and Sand King. Those are probably two of the more dangerous heroes. They did pick off Muzika at the very beginning of the team fight, which I'm sure would have made a huge impact if he didn't have that Aegis. But similar to what we saw last game, they fed the Aegis to the Shadow Shaman because his damage contribution is so high right now, and his HP is so low. So getting him picked off right off the bat could absolutely spell doom for any team fight. So that was a smart play.
Yep. And also because Shadow Shaman spells have such low cooldown, you could drop all your spells, die, and then come right back and still be a very much threat with your spell casting. And well, that's exactly what we saw here earlier. So in terms of the kill, we are up by 7 in terms of Absolution. Goal difference, it's getting a little bit uglier and uglier for Team Fire. Last game, it was a very much of a sine curve, but now it's just, it's kind of just a downward slope. This is like Wall Street right now for United States, and also for Fire. Look at that pun, so good.
And to those of you that don't actually know anything about math, the sine curve is like a wave. It goes up and down and up and down. So, yeah, it looks like Black Chiton going to pick up a ultimate orb from the side shop. Is he going to get a straight into Scotty or Manta? Probably
boring Manta.
Boring Manta. Come on, man.
Boo!
I guess it's kind of boring.
Where's that shotgun?
Yeah, it's true. Maybe he's getting a Scotty. Fingers crossed. He's going to do non-boring Scotty. I'd be really surprised. That would be kind of bad. But
that's like, hey, Darkseer, here's more stuff for you to work with.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true, because then the Scotty debuff would apply to any illusions made by Morphling.
Yes.
Which is similar to giving them that Dragon Knight ulti.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous stuff. And here comes Dire pushing the bot a little bit. Chen creeps, kind of trying to push out the wave. And if you look at the mini-map from the Radiant side, they're just defensive. They're too afraid to leave because they're getting ganked. Only Jo could go outside, and Jo, he has backtrack and time-lapse. And he does have the battle for Strength Press and about 1,000 gold in the bank. The question is he saving for a BKB or is he saving for Mask of Madness?
And he is looking to purchase something. No, he decides against it. He had the gold for a Mask of Madness, but he's not going to buy, or not a Mask of Madness, the Mask of Death. The rest of the Radiant team is defending on the mid lane. That's Venge with that Beastmaster once again. They do have the Pipe, and he is pretty tanky, level 13. Vengeful Spirit, level 9. Still no level 2 swap. But Chen's doing a pretty good job. He's about to get his mech, but that's pretty late mech, man. 24 minutes.
Yeah.
I've seen people pick that up so quickly, but usually they grab it before the Arcane Boots. So that was the option. Or that's what Fluff and Stuff happened to opt for this game, was grabbing that Arcane first.
Yeah, generally the mecha gets picked up a lot quicker because the tower, really helps out.
That's
and if
true.
you look at this game, they only got 2 towers. And I think one of them might be denied, I'm not too sure. So it's really hurting the income here for the supports. You could clearly notice in a non-pushing game, the supports, they are just poor. Look at this Venge, he's got nothing. Of course, Chen's farming jungle a bit, so he's got some income, but still very little compared to what he usually get. Looks like they're going to try to get a mid-tower push down, but Dire's right on top of that one. They're not giving up any leeway to Team Fire. No comeback, they say.
Yeah, I love the wards that Risk is putting down from the Dire team. If you just look at them, man, they're such peculiar places. I would never expect these to get counter-warded. Maybe the one in the middle is a possibility, but such interesting ward placements that are still going to give good vision, but are unlikely to get wasted. So very cool stuff. That kind of stuff is huge. And he's going to de-ward a Observer. It was only at about 20% or so, so not the biggest win, but it's going to be nice. The ulti is going to come to the bot lane while there's a team fight. Black Shaitan actually going, and he has Morphine, but wow. Gets chain stun there and ganked off. Was that a Chronosphere or something? Yeah, he did Chronosphere that.
Ice Blast a little bit late. I don't think it would have made too much difference there. And Morphling is going to get his farm time really hammered. Not so much about losing that, 200, 300 gold, but about that 50 seconds of farm time. And also about 50-second chance for the Radiant team to make something happen because it is 4v5 right now. Dire says, "Ooh, let's just back off for now. We don't need to take any unnecessary risks because they're so good defensively."
Yeah, that's definitely true. The Blink Dagger is up on Enigma, though, with his mechanism, so he's not super tanky yet, but he will have the possibility to initiate at ridiculous levels. And once again, there's not a lot of stuns coming out of the Radiant team, pretty much just sitting on Beastmaster, a Vacuum from Darkseer, and a Vengeful Spirit. So if Enigma can pick up a Blacking Bar, the only person he has to worry about, well, I guess it's going to be 3 heroes, actually. Chronosphere, Rexar Roar, or Vengeful Swap, which is way more than a normal game, so he might just not get a King Bar, we'll see.
Good item choice here by TC, the Beastmaster, picking up a Medallion Courage like you're talking about, have the ability to break off the Linken's charge and then go into a Roar. Most Morphling player thinks like, oh yeah, Beastmaster's coming, I'm going to be safe, but not against TC.
And that's going to help out a lot.
Yep. And Morphling back in the mid lane, getting his farm trained on. He's somewhat slowed down. He's up to 1800 HP. A lot more HP than what you expect. His base damage is sort of low, but I think survivability right now is the priority, and he's making that choice. Especially
when you're sitting in a lane getting last hits, 100 damage is plenty, considering you're starting the game off at about 50 and getting those last hits. So, it's going to possibly save him. If he gets leapt on and Chronosphered again, he's going to have an extra 300 or 400 HP, which really could make the difference in him surviving. So I think that's a very smart play. And if a team fight comes up, he can always just do a little bit of transfer, lose a couple of 100 HP, get an extra 20 or 30 damage or something like that, just to help out, depending on the situation.
Darkseer farm check. Nothing. Let's move on.
Ooh, that's rough. Dang.
He's got a cloak.
That's nothing, man, for Darkseer at 28 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Rexar got the pipe, but he has not really been accomplishing much. He died so many times at the top that he can't really, solo farm really effectively. I mean, he can do jungle, I guess, but they're so scared about getting ganked, which is all about the fear that Absolute Legends has put into their team. So wards get drop bottom as well, and they're going to be trying to take this free tower, but will Fire be able to get there in time?
Yeah, I think Absolute Legend might be sensing a gank coming their way, and that's exactly as entire team smoked up. There is a Sentry Ward. Looks like no ping drop down just here. And here comes a Chronosphere on 2. This is a little bit better. What's Goldak going to do? Jo is stunned up, but so is the rest of the team. Here comes Sand King. Tower is going to be destroyed. TC's pipe, not pipe on the rest of the team. Hand of God gets dropped around. Risk is going to get 3 hit, 4 hit by Jo. It is Chen getting the couple kills, and he might get a little bit more here as Goldak in a little bit of trouble. Where is Shaitan in all of this?
Yeah, Black Shaitan was going after the Rexar for a very long time there. Now he's kind of going 1 versus 1 versus the Faceless Void, but I don't expect him to get this kill because all of the nasty support heroes of the Radiant team are still coming. So Black Shaitan does end up getting the Linken's denied, but only by a penitence. So Snoopy will get picked off by this two-man duo, and they're still fighting here. I can't believe it. Will they be able to get the Faceless Void? The wall replica goes down. Black Shaitan is taking damage, but he might be able to get the skill. He's got 2 seconds for a wave. And is he going to change targets? He is going to go after the Vengeful Spirit. Now, he's morphing to Strength, I believe, and his HP is as high as it's going to get. So at this point, he needs to probably run away. He's actually going to TP out. Are we going to see a bash by Void? He gets, no, the net goes down. And that's going to kill Black Shaitan. Possibly should just ran away there and waited for the waveform.
Absolute Legend, the team that's normally so defensive. Stayed in the battle for a long time. Not too sure whether that's worth it. Shaitan also had a Iron Shell on him, and he was literally holding hands with Snoopy. I'm sure Snoopy would not like that affection, at least not in this situation, as he was able to drop down hundreds and hundred points of HP. And that team fight put the Radiant team back on the map. I think they're a little bit more in even footing. The hero kill is a little bit more even. The goal difference, small climb back up. They're still very, very back, but that was also after Morphling death just from earlier. So that's 2 death in about 2 minutes or so. And that's really going to cut into his man style. He hasn't had item progression for a long, long time.
Yeah, and Faceless Void picks up his Black King bar now. His Chronosphere he got hexed in his Chronosphere at the start of that team fight there, which was a little unfortunate for him, but going to be doing much better at this point. And Shadow Shaman got killed immediately there in that team fight. Needs a Black King bar or something, man. He's got the ultimate orb, but the nukes coming from the Radiant team, there's just so many really good heroes against him. Getting roared or things like that, it's going to be tough. He possibly just needs to tank up with a negative scepter or something, I don't know.
I actually think he's going to go Linken's as well. We'll see.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, because Black King Bar gets roared through, Chronosphere is going to find you, Swap's still going to find you, so it's just annoying. Like, this lineup against Radiant is so annoying to buy items against. Because they're going to stun you either way. I was thinking either a Linken Sphere or a Self Cyclone, because that's generally enough to get them off you, especially when they have a lot of stuff to deal with. But yeah, Linken Sphere is going to be his choice. Gives him a little bit of regen.
It's definitely possible.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's very, very uncommon that you would say that Linken's is a better item choice than a Black King Bar. But I would agree in this case, man.
Or he might just be going the boring hex, you know.
It's possible, but he's going to get there kind of late since his game hasn't really been rolling for him. You know, he keeps getting jumped on immediately, and that's why things have not been going too amazingly for Absolute Legends. They still do have a 2-tower advantage, though. They still have all of their tier 2s up. Do they have the tier 1 as well? Yeah, they do actually. Wow, it's actually deniable. Is Ancient Apparition going to pick this off? It's at 87 HP. I'd love to see him take it out right now, but yeah, they still have a slight advantage in towers, but the farm is capping off about 7,500, so I think they still have a good chance of winning this, but that Black King Bar on Void is going to be a problem.
Yeah, the farm, the exact number of creep kills is a very, very telling tale. As you see Jo up to 190 creep kills. I think it was just 10 minutes ago that we're talking about, oh man, he's getting ganked. He died twice in the succession of like 1 or 2 minutes, but he's right back, and the Battle Fairy being very helpful in that regard. He's out farming Shaitan. Who, in my opinion, had the better farm room. He had more room to farm. He had, better escape. He had better survival for the most part. But he's getting picked off, and now TC is up to 150 too, and Hannah Montana up to 100. Although he has no item show for it, 100 on Chen as well. On the other side, 132 on Musica and 150 or so on Godot.
Yeah, and Faceless Void's numbers are going to be a little exaggerated because of that Battle Fury. He was in jungle a bit, so picking off really, really weak creeps are going to inflate that a little bit. But if we look at the actual gold numbers themselves, he's at 12,400, and Shaitan's at 13,800. So he does have a slight advantage there.
Right.
He's going to be very close to a Mantis style. Yeah, and towers as well, definitely. He does have his Yasha finished. He needs about 150 gold to get his Mantis style. Just imagine how different that last team fight would have been in the jungle if he had a Yasha or something like that. For that movement speed, it does give you about 30% increased attack speed, which is really huge for long engagements there. And it could have been a lot different, but he is going to be able to purchase his Mantis style. He may have to teleport back to his base. And looks like they did deny the mid tower, which is good. Yep.
Jo was standing next to Invisibility Rune. I thought he was going to pick it up and, go for a Ninja Chrono instead. He's going to give it to the Beastmaster. Beastmaster providing the scouting, and here comes Jo. Oh, we totally forgot the Iron Shell on the Faceless Void, because that's going to really hurt as well. But here comes Morphling. It's like, no one in defending this. Okay. Gonna go right on your racks.
Okay, I guess they did not deny it. I must have missed that. Sorry about that.
And looks like that.
Yeah, it does get destroyed by the Radiant. That's a big deal. Kind of a big loss there. And it looks like Morphling's going to back out. Tries to waveform down into the abyss, but apparently can't go down there. And he's going to teleport out.
But they did draw 2 teleport squirrels, and that means it's Roshan. They saw TC TP top, they saw the Darkseer TP bot, and if Absolute Legend has the balls to do it, and looks like they do, they're going to go right for Roshan. And really, there's not too much that the Radiant team could do about it. They can jump in with the Void and maybe even go for a Aegis steal. But they're not even going to attempt that. Absolute Legends is going to find themselves a free Aegis, and they definitely need this on the Morphling.
Yeah,
maybe
despite
maybe they still put on Musica.
It's possible. We could see it either way. It depends, though. If Shatan doesn't have the Aegis, he's going to have to play more defensive. But Fire is showing up. IX Mike is about to scout it out, but they will get picked up. Yes, Shadow Shaman does pick it up. And now Morphling going to transfer his strength a little bit. Going to be picking up a little bit more here, but kind of interesting so far. He's going to make a replicant of the Enigma, so he's going to go scout out the high ground. And I just want to point out that Ancient Apparition does have a gem, by the way, with this Force Staff, so we'll be able to de-ward grabbing 1 ward there, and that's going to make it even harder here for Fire to come back into this. Once you can just kill every single ward that you come across, they're even more in the dark. If we look at their vision, man, they are mostly in the dark at the moment. They have 2 really weird wards, one in the side jungle and one over on the top of Roshan, because they were thinking about going for a Roshan themselves, but that one's not going to accomplish anything anymore.
Yep. I got to give that Roshan win here to, or the guy who allowed them to win was Shatan, because he was pushing and they basically forced to TP. And that, you know, when you force TPs like that, you get the free Aegis, especially when you're in the dire side, so nicely done. Musica does have that Lincoln Sphere finish. She's going to add a point booster to that, so extremely tanky at this point. Very, very survivable. He still have to worry about the Chronosphere, but, you know, a lot off his mind because he was getting ward every single fight so far. Now, the ward will still go through if TC knows what's up and pop off of Lincoln, but it might block for the first one if he's not really on, you know, checking the item on Musica very closely. These guys are hugging very closely. They got to worry about that Chronosphere coming their way.
Yeah, that's true, but they're backing off. They're waiting for the initiation. The Manta Cell was used by Morphling to do a little bit of damage, and it looks like we're going to use another Enigma replicant, and going to see if they can bait out any ultimates or anything like that. I think he's being a little obvious about it, but yeah. I don't think they're going to dive on it.
Especially if you look at the mini-map and check the colors, that's one of the easiest way to tell whether that is a real one or a fake one. And also you could look at things like regeneration. Actually, in Dota 1, I know that they don't regen mana and HP. Do they do it here?
I don't know. It looked like he had the numbers. He had
he was actually regening.
Yeah, but I think that was based on his magical illusion intelligence levels.
Magical, maybe.
You know, they're not actually real. You know.
Yes, fake intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. But Morphling, you're going to be using the replicant. He can come back, and he will actually. He's going to use that. He's going to show back up, and there's actually a team fight going on. Who are they going to kill? It's going to be the Faceless Void. Is he going to go down? He does get picked off with the amp damage or the adaptive strike.
What was he doing?
Farming, I guess. He probably didn't think they were there. I don't know.
Well, he could use 2k of his gold to buyback now and try to defend top, or maybe they're going to just give this tower a go. In either case, they're not going to be happy with this one.
Yeah, that's a really tough loss when you're at that much gold. He's sitting at 2k right now. He's getting close to another item, and they lose the tower just like that. And there's a 1,000 gold advantage to the enemy team. Getting your carry picked off like that for nothing is not a good thing. They did use their Serpent Wards, but that's about it.
Yep. Of course, Absolute Legend forced a buyback, and they're just going to back off. And that just probably makes Team Fire even more mad. And they're going to go look for more opportunities, get farmed up, and look for a gank. Morphling's up to 2,300, and that buyback just pulled the 2 carries apart. I gotta say, the 2 carries very, very evenly farmed before that kill. And yeah, Morphling, is he gonna go for Butterfly next? I think Butterfly will be a great choice since the Void is nowhere near the MKB. So
yeah, I would agree with that. I think that'd be really smart. If you guys don't know that stats are the best way to buff up your illusion's damage, so, and not to mention, illusions do actually get the evasion chance, if I remember correctly, from the Butterfly. So yes. By using Manta with Butterfly, those 2 items together are ridiculously powerful for pushing.
Yep, and also give your illusions a little bit more oomph as attack speed gets passed through the agility as well. And they do massive, massive damage. It looks like we have a split push. The guys on top are pushing there. Of course, Morphling has a replicate up, so he could immediately join his team if necessary. Gotta be careful to keep track of his duration on that replicate as it's running out.
Yeah, he has about 15 seconds left here. He may see him do like a waveform, or he might just go straight back to the top. He's thinking about it right now, and this is his ability to split push. It doesn't look like he's interested. He's got like 2 seconds left, and he's just gonna commit, man. He's staying on the bot lane, and he's fine with that, I guess.
Yep, right now Team Fire being kept inside her base. Hannah Montana got that X-Scepter somehow.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, he went from like nothing to an egg scepter there.
Yeah, last time I checked, he was holding it at 1k go, but I guess he was able to get a couple creeps. Maybe he got a lot of assists in a fight or something like that. And all right,
well,
so
that's good for him.
Yeah, it's actually a big deal. I mean, even though again the item advantage much in favor of Absolute Legend, the go advantage there as well. And Wall Replica is so broken, especially if you combine it with things like a Chronosphere. It's crazy stuff.
Yeah, I love the fact that the Darkseer is just putting ion shells on the Chen creeps all the time, because those are units that are going to constantly be in melee range to enemies, and just, I mean, 70 damage per second, that's so huge. 75 damage, if you can get that up on like 2 Chen creeps, man, holy crap.
Yep.
So much AoE being done in the team fight that you don't necessarily take an advantage for, but if you think about it, I mean, Radiance does what? 40 damage per second, correct? So it's like a double Radiance, and then you can stack that multiple times.
Right. Well, granted, a much smaller AoE, but still.
Yes, much smaller AoE.
But yeah, and also it's just tough to, you can't really just right click those things down. They have like 1400 HP, like they're tanks. So those Chen creeps being great targets to put them Iron Shell on. But I'm checking out Absolute Legends Guild, and I see about Morphstein's bought something, and it's gonna be Eagle Song coming his way. Musica up to about 2600. He could be going for an X-Scepter as well.